Parenting Part 2. Hello guys, so I'm making another video on parenting. Real quick, I just want to say that I had this video which was on gas conservative driving, and I took it down because I think I might have been doing something wrong and I don't want you guys to suffer through that. I just privated it for the time being so that you guys don't end up doing those things to your cars. You can listen to some of the advice, for example, using less accelerator when you're about to stop, but don't listen to the part about pumping the gas really heavy. And I really didn't think things through when I made that. I apologize and I'm very sorry for making that. And I know that most of these advice videos that I make are easier said than done, but it's more about changing your mindset and pushing yourself to do it. It's not about time or money or anything like that, you know? So this video is going to be shorter because I don't have too much to say. It's just little stuff. Kids' bad behavior versus you misunderstanding them or not liking them. I kind of talked about this earlier where I was saying that some parents will take the things their kids say to heart instead of actually analyzing what their kid's saying. Most of the time, if a kid is mad at the parent, especially during tween stage or teenager stage, they will say stuff like you're annoying, you're mean. So let's say if a kid says you're annoying, you're probably nagging them too much. Now, I will say again, you need to give your children responsibility. Don't take what your kids are saying at face value, but instead try to listen to what they're actually saying. You know, and this kind of goes with relationships too. If a kid doesn't like one of your friends, there's probably a good reason for it, because especially little kids can kind of sense those things, right? They can sense when a person's being real or fake, right? So don't take what your kids say for granted. Another example is a kid saying that you're mean, you're being mean to them. It probably means you're just being too strict. Don't just take it to heart as an insult, because most of the time when kids are saying these things, that's not the point. They're not meant to insult you. They're meant to tell you that they don't like how you're treating them. Being softer and molding them at younger ages. Don't wait until your kids are hitting puberty before you start telling them, because then they're going to be disobedient. Because, you know, it's kind of harder to change people out of their ways when they're grown. Not even just talking about kids, but adults in general, right? So that's why it's important to instill the good values when they're still trying to grow in their identity, so that that good value can be part of their identity, right? And then the do it my way parent. Like I said earlier, right? Good parenting is about allowing your kids to grow into their identity, not a set identity you have for them. When you always say, hey, you need to do this my way, you're forcing them to be dependent on you. And then you complain when they're not independent. Meanwhile, this is how you've cultivated them to be, right? When they don't know what they're doing, obviously it's fine. They have to know the basic way, but then when they develop their own way, you don't rain on their parade. And this was another thing that I may or may not have talked about in my previous video about this, which is about parents who give bad punishments to their children. So the kind of punishments you want to be giving to your children are not ones that are like, oh, I'm going to take away your device, I'm going to take away your, because you're making them unnecessarily miserable. Maybe for me, for instance, I would prefer just to give them more chores than usual or something like that as a punishment. And definitely we don't want stuff like, you know, spanking and all of that as a punishment either. Like, I know it's a joke, get the belt, like spare the rod, save the child, all of these things, but it's just a matter of you think about it. If you did something bad, right, would you want to be hit for it? Just because they're a kid doesn't mean it's not wrong. Most of the time when you give them those harsh punishments like, oh, you can't use your device anymore, they're gonna go and sneak and look for it anyways, which destroys the point, right? You're kind of encouraging them to be more of a delinquent when you do something too harsh, because think about it, like you're giving a bad energy, so they're gonna give you bad energy back, right? Or something like that. So you have to think about it as like, if you want them to be good to you, you have to do something that's good for them. Maybe it'll suck for them or whatever, doing a bit extra chores or something like that as a punishment, but it's not you giving too harsh of a punishment to them. Okay guys, so I know this video is a bit short, but yeah, I don't have too much to say today. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!